Okay. Halloween.
Yeah, are we
Halloween.
live? We live?
Well, we lit.
Oh, we in my swamp.
It.
Go ahead, little P.
Oh my! Oh, I can't handle that. Are you gonna wear the nose the whole episode?
This little piggy went to the podcast. I don't like that kind of music. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
ridiculous.
We gotta get serious. We gotta get serious because we're telling some spooky stories.
True ones.
True ones.
Happened to us, yeah.
Saint it.
Very much so.
Saint it.
Unfortunately.
I feel like we should start with Josh today. Josh, with your pig nose, why don't you tell us how hard the wolf blew your house down? Was it made out of mud pies?
That's a good callback. You know, with those materials, you know, how advanced it was.
How advanced they were.
The house should be still standing.
They probably are.
Okay, so for real.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So how many? You've got a couple stories. Why don't you tell us one of them? You can start with your save your best for last. We'll end on your best one.
Dang. All of them are pretty good.
Oh, well, pick one.
Got that. I guess one of the bigger ones was, well, not bigger ones, but I should have said smaller. So youth camp. Obviously, youth camp's always great. It's always grand. It's always a good spiritual experience. Students definitely get a lot out of it. But on the flip side of that, you know, when we deal with spiritual things, we also deal with the other side of it, which is demonic stuff and everything. You know, the Bible teaches us that we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but a principalities of darkness, all that. So fast forward to youth camp, and there was one night that we specifically, it was about the Holy Spirit, and so I'm not going to go into depth about that, but that's what the altar service, you can't take me seriously.
You got to take that nose off, dude.
That's why
I can't.
That's why I looked over and like took a sip because I was like, I can't.
All I'm thinking about is what if he reaches a part of the story
when he laughs and jumps up.
All I'm thinking about is like, what if he reaches a part of the story that's like really emotional for him and he tears up? He's wearing that stupid pig nose on his face.
I ain't gonna tear up with this one. Anywho,
oh my god!
You gonna leave it on?
For real, right now.
All right.
Anyways,
leave it
so
on.
we were specifically praying over that. That was what the altar call was designated for that night. And you guys know kind of what I'm referring to when I say that. And so I was praying with this person, and there was another young lady and one of my friends praying with her. And I kept feeling some resistance, and I kept feeling the Lord speak to me to tell the person I was praying with, you know, not to get distracted, to keep your focus on Him, keep pressing into His presence. And just, that's how I felt the Lord really speaking to me. Well, come to find out, after I had got done praying with this person, I turned around to help pray with others, as any good youth counselor would. And come to find out, they were actually praying to... you know, demonic.
Oh,
stuff.
So
No, sir.
So
speaking Latin.
Were they en nomine Patri?
Absolutely not speaking Latin. But what it really was, so my friend that was next to me, she said, "Josh, did you not feel me grab onto your arm?" I said, "Yeah, I felt." I said, "I thought you were just helping me pray for who I was praying with." She said, "No, this girl literally had me pinned down." And so when I turned around to help pray with them, demonic possession is a real thing, and it's something I say Jesus laughed at me about, because I said I never wanted to be right in it. Like, I would pray from a distance because I know how serious that kind of thing is. But this particular night I was in it, unfortunately, but fortunately. And so this girl, I mean, literally, I can't begin to describe it because I think I knew about it, but I had never experienced it for myself. And seeing people pray with her, and the more they quoted scripture, the worse she became, and the more, like, I can't even begin to describe the laughs that came out of this girl.
Nope, get me out.
Like,
I would not be around.
I can't begin to explain how those laughs even were. It was very much so mocking. It was very, very intense. In fact, they sent all the other students back to their dorms, and we're talking about this is only like 9:15 at night, and our lights out weren't till 12 for senior camp. So they sent everybody back to their dorms. Yeah.
So the laughing, so you kind of like a mocking style. Was it kind of like a cocky laugh too? Like,
Yeah, I was wondering.
Like whatever you're doing's not working and it's not going to work.
Basically.
Was it like it like a low laugh or like a high pitch, like a witch laugh, or like what was it?
It was kind of in between. It
maniacal kind of.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
What if you like high pitch laugh real quick and I'll low pitch and we'll be the same voice, but like one of those weird.
Oh, don't
voices.
do that. Oh, please don't.
No, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Ready?
It definitely wasn't like that. But nonetheless, so, and I remember one of the pastor's wives in the state, like, this lady could pray like no other. And she was praying over her. And, I mean, it got intense for a minute. And I just don't know how to describe it. It was like the more they prayed, the worse that I guess, mocking became. And so at that point, I don't know if the girl ever got delivered, but I do know that the next day she remembered nothing about what happened.
Huh.
Like it literally, it was like she fell out and remembered nothing. And
how long did that go for?
Oh,
imagine
we
hours.
We were praying over her for at least, I know, 45 minutes to an hour. Well, from when the altar call started to that point, it probably was, I'd say, right about an hour, because we were with her with what seemed like forever, and I could be wrong about the timing, but it was a good while. But it's a very serious thing, and it's not pleasant to be in. But I think I told you this the other day, but that's why I've always said, like, when you go into those kind of situations, you got to know that you know that you know that you are 100% sold out, man, to Christ. Like, you've got to know that you are strong enough in Christ, number one, because there's a lot I'm not going to go into in this podcast, and we can later on, that I went into with you the other day. But you have got to know within yourself that you are spiritually strong enough to withstand that, because that's not only a spiritual thing, but that drains you in the physical as well, emotionally. And so,
and well, to clarify on that a little bit, we don't know each other's stories. We're just hearing them for the first time on here. But what we were talking about, I was talking to Josh the other day about how sometimes I kind of wish that I can see. I don't really know how to explain it. I don't really know how to explain it to you, but you knew what I meant. Sometimes I wish I could see things as they are, you know?
Like in Constantine.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen Constantine?
No.
In Constantine, so there are angels who were hiding in human form and demons who were hiding in human form.
But he can see them.
But Constantine, or in certain areas, like certain middle ground in the movie or whatever, like their true form shows. But he was able to see them for who they are.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want.
So basically,
but I've prayed about it. Like, the reason behind it is to be able to, if you see spiritual warfare going on and you can physically see it, I would imagine you would have a better, quicker realization of how to fix it, how to fight it.
I used to see shadows.
Well, that's probably not good.
So let me add on to that with what you're saying. So for those that may not know, the Bible does talk about angels that are unaware. The Bible talks about there are angels among us that we're unaware of. But on the same token, here's the thing with the devil. The devil's not omnipresent. He can't be everywhere at one time. So he has to have demons to assign to do things because he can't do everything at one time. So I wanted to clarify that so they kind of know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
So I think to a certain extent that's where spiritual gifts come into play.
Yeah.
And discernment is very much so one of those. And when it comes to spiritual warfare, you definitely have to be able to discern. But I do believe that God allows people to sense and can show you things. 100%. That's one of the way God talks to us is through dreams, through visions. He'll show us stuff. We just have to be willing and open, like you're talking about, to let God use us in that manner. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I ain't the one. I ain't gonna pray that. I will pray for any other gift of the Spirit. I will pray for the Lord to send me visions, send me dream. But I ain't praying to see nothing like that now.
Well,
Have I told
I'm
you?
not-
I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm not. I don't want to straight up see
Yeah.
some shadow looking at me. Like,
Wait for one of my stories, and I'll tell you.
Have I told you guys that it was a slight dream of mine to be on like a spiritual special forces, like go out and find people that are like that?
I can't. So you purposely wanted to do that?
I still do. I wouldn't do it because I don't think my wife would let me. But I would, like,
Well-
I am not scared of that stuff.
Well, see-
even in the slightest.
Well, see, and that's another thing that you have to be aware of within yourself. Like, I'm not scared. I just don't want to be in the mix because I know.
I'm a fighter, dude. Let me.
Tony's gonna go in Leroy.
Right.
Hey, yeah.
But here's the thing is that if there's something unresolved within you, or if there's a certain aspect of your life or anything that, I'm trying to think how to word this.
Anything that they can cling on to. That's
Because they can
Yeah,
attach
yeah.
themselves to you, and that's why we have to be careful what we allow not only our eyes to see, but when we're doing things like that, we have to be careful to guard our own selves.
That's also the thing, though. That's it, Josh. I'm an open book. Everybody knows everything about me. Use what you want.
That is true.
Try.
Got a point there.
I ain't scared.
Well, I mean, and that's, it takes people like that. It takes people like that, man. But again, I mean, it's not something that we play with, obviously.
I got you.
But again, God, I believe, just as much as He's called me to preach, just as much as He has called me to be a minister of the Word, I believe that there are certain other areas of ministry that He calls people into, and I believe that's one of them. Because, again, everybody is not equipped. Everybody is not able to do that. And it's a very serious thing.
Yeah, when growing up, I saw that it was same church, but it was two different occurrences. But there was an exorcism going on. Dude, they cleared out everybody. And I was fine walking out. I was like, all right, I'm leaving. Let's go. I ain't staying. But I remember that, screaming, throwing up everywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
When the Bible talks about that
Ladies were going in with trash bags.
I mean, but again, here's where we have to, the Bible does say that, He's empowered us to do the same. Like, He has given us that authority over demons to cast them out, to tread over serpents, scorpions.
Try Jesus.
Not me.
Don't try me.
But we have to remember that when we're.
'Cause I got hands.
What you gonna do? Fight a demon, Tony?
Try
With your bare
Jesus.
hands?
Don't try me. 'Cause I fight.
I don't know what that song is. You making it up?
You've never heard it?
No.
You've never heard that, Ken?
Man, nothing we got to show you, dude.
But that's what the Bible talks about. When the Holy Spirit came, that was empowerment for us.
All right.
To give us that same authority.
So let's get to the next scary story. Ken, what you got?
I don't really have a bunch of them. I got a few stories, but one actually happened. It was several years ago now. It was probably 10 years ago now. I was in church playing the drums during the music. So the beginning of the service, some lady walked in kind of late, just in the middle of the singing, and when she walked, I mean, she didn't make any like big deal walking in, but of course I noticed her because she's coming in late. Well, she came and sat on the far end of the church on the side. So the way I was facing, I was kind of facing directly at her. When I looked at her, I could never make out her face. Like, she was sitting there, everybody around her, you could see their faces, clear as day. Mm-hmm. You gotta quit with that nose.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is gonna get.
But anyway, you can make out everybody's face around her, anybody in the church, but hers, it was just dark. And eventually, I kind of saw her face, but it was warped. It was like it was spinning. Like you ever see like like those hypnotized little things? It was like her face.
Like
was,
when someone takes a painting, while it's still
wet,
and just like.
And so I was like, maybe I'm going crazy. But I just like it didn't freak me out or nothing.
Yeah.
But I was like,
what if it turned out it was just like somebody ate something like a donut that morning and smudged the glass on his drum set?
No. So I was just thinking, maybe I'm just crazy, but here's how I know I wasn't crazy. Later on that week, I went to someone's house at our church, and they asked me, they said, did you see anything weird Sunday?
Oh.
Because they were also on the stage. And they didn't give me any kind of hint.
How long ago was this?
This was before you got here.
Okay.
So probably, you've been here 8 years?
Going on.
This was like probably 10 at least.
Okay.
9 or 10. So when I was talking to them, they asked, well, did you see anything weird at church? Didn't give me any kind of hints or anything. I said, yeah. I said, there was this lady that walked in. I told them the same story. They saw the same thing. Same exact thing. Mm-hmm. Now, to this day, there was something else with that story that I don't really remember it enough to retell it, and I don't want to just in case I tell it wrong. There was definitely something up with her. But to this day, I don't know who that lady is. I don't know what she really looks like.
Now, let me pose a weird theory to that. What if that lady does still go to our church,
exactly.
but because you didn't recognize her, you don't know?
Exactly. I don't know.
And whoever she was,
point.
She got rid of that demon.
That's my point. I don't know who she was, but I can tell you exactly where she was sitting. Okay, so we're on the stage.
Yep.
Is it in our section?
The opposite.
our section. He's about to go rub some oil over on his
right. No, okay, so our section, right?
Yeah.
The one that's
opposing section where Melanie sits
on the wall, okay. The very back. Hey, I wonder if she saw it. I'm gonna have to ask her.
You should.
Anyway, so that's one of my stories, but that ain't like. Really,
wait, was she already playing piano?
No, but she was in our choir before.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But that's one of my stories.
So one of my scariest stories is actually not supernatural at all. One of my scariest stories is okay. Let me preface this by saying I thought of in our last episode where we talked about things that like are kind of scary or creepy or whatever. I figured out a good answer for me, and I'm scared of humans.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's the worst,
dude. Because
go back to that forest thing I was talking about.
Humans are unpredictable unless you know them, and there's just some out there that you just don't know. And they might do some crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. So this before my save days,
Jeffrey
I was
Dahmer.
at a house party, right? And the crowd we hung out with was just not good. Like the guy whose house we were partying at, he had a toddler sleeping in the room next to us. Like the baby was probably like 1 year old, sleeping in the room next to us while we're just partying, right? Mm. Yeah, not a good crowd of people. I was not a good person. Anywho, so we're hanging out, we're partying, having a good time, and this guy, he's gonna go for more of what we were drinking and stuff like that, and so he tells everyone. I mean, this was the best father moment that he had. He was like, while I'm gone, I want nobody in my house. You guys can hang out outside, but nobody's going to be alone with my kid while I'm gone. So that was probably the best father moment he had. And he left one person in charge, my friend Ben. And he was like, I trust you, Ben. You stay inside so somebody's with him, but everybody else, you got to get out.
Right.
So we're all hanging out in the front yard waiting for this guy to come back. And at one point, somebody had to use the bathroom. And Ben let him. That was a bad move. Because that guy got back while that dude was in the bathroom. And so he walks up. He starts freaking out. It starts freaking out on Ben and freaking out on all of us. Ben came over and he was standing next to me. And this dude pulled out a gun and pointed it right at me and fired. Luckily, he had bad aim. But it went in between me and Ben.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, we heard the bullet go like right past our head. Scariest moment of my life. Scariest moment.
That's yeah. Wow. You're lucky to
That's
be here.
intense.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's so like you guys have like these scary like supernatural stories, and every story that I have that is probably going to be in this episode is going to be times where I almost died. Okay, Josh, you're up next.
How you wait?
How do I even top
How
that?
you gonna?
Go ahead. What you got?
I don't think you're topping that.
I
I
don't
know
think
I'm
you
not.
can.
I know I'm not.
I gotta ring my brain now to see if I've got one that's
All right, I'll
better.
just tell
You
another
go
one
ahead.
because mine's short.
I like that his hair kind of matches the curly tail of a pig.
It does. And did you see his tail?
Yeah.
I told him not to wear that.
No.
I mean, what would be the point? I'm not-
Right.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but
I don't see the point wearing the pig nose either, but here we are.
I mean, that's more of a point than the tail would be. At least people can see the nose.
yeah.
All right, Ken.
All right. So another one. Oh, this one was recent. This one was recent, and this one, well, it kind of creeped me out. I told Chastity about it. So, it was a few months ago. I was sick, and so I was sleeping on the couch, and I just started to kind of feel better, and enough to where I had enough energy where I was gonna scare her, but I still felt like crap. Don't get me wrong. But I felt like she was going to the kitchen or whatever. And you've been in my house, so my couch is kind of near the kitchen.
And open
Yeah,
behind it.
yeah. And so my head was kind of facing, like the way I was laying was, my head would have been where she was coming from. So I wouldn't have been able to see her. But I felt her come and like look at me, right? Like above me, right? You know how you feel when somebody's right there?
I ain't coming back to your house.
Well, you know how you can kind of feel somebody when they're there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to like wait for a second and then jump out at her and be like, because it's the middle of the night. I couldn't open my eyes or anything. You know, like,
sleep paralysis.
yeah.
Oh,
And-
those are fun.
It was kind of freaky because I've heard of sleep paralysis before, and there's always something.
You just unlocked a
A
new thing for me to
whole
talk
new
about when it
realm.
comes to scary stuff. Because actually, I am scared of sleep paralysis.
yeah. Well,
I've got, yeah.
Well, that's the only time I've experienced it, and it was weird because I went to go jump out at her, but like I didn't feel pinned down or anything, but I couldn't ever bring myself to do it. Like I had
You couldn't move.
there was nothing.
It's freaky, dude.
There
It's
was
such a
I
freaky
actually-
feeling.
So then the next morning, I asked her. I said, "Hey, I was like, did you come check on me last night?" And I told her the whole story, and it just freaky. She was like, "No, I never got up." Well, it was just freaky because I knew somebody was there. Now, some point after that happened, I was able to open my eyes, and there was nobody there, of course. But I figured, hopefully, she just went back to the room. But I don't know. It freaked me out. That was this year.
I have a friend that I have told her many times I think the Lord really wants to use her in this manner because she's dealt with that, but she has literally seen shadows pass by her. And she is so in tune. Like she can pick up on that kind of stuff. And I'm like, if you would just let the Lord use you, let him use you. You be the one. But I mean, sleep paralysis is no joke. I guess that would be my next story.
So if y'all so
Yeah, I've got.
All right,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
tell-
Oh,
and
yeah.
you've
I've got
one
two
too?
more. Yeah.
You've got one too.
I mean,
sleep
it's not
paralysis?
like a pronounced story. I just had times where like, and it only has ever happened when I've like slept on a couch, where like I'm sleeping on a couch and I like I can open my eyes but I can't move, and then it just made me remember that you know what, I think I am claustrophobic, but not in the sense where like I can be in a crowd of people and I can be in small rooms and I can do all that, but like people who cave dive.
Oh, I'm not
people who
doing
go
that.
spelunking.
That's insane. to me.
Nope.
That gives me anxiety. That gives
No,
me
sir.
anxiety.
I don't
just
even
I mean,
watching
I
the
couldn't
videos.
squeeze in there anyways, so
I don't even like watching the videos.
Have y'all saw that one where that guy gets stuck under the cave because he thought it was?
Yeah, and they ended up having to leave him there.
and they had
he's
to
dead?
leave him, let him die, and they cemented
Yeah.
it in,
Yeah, I saw that one.
so nobody
I
else would
never
get
saw
stuck.
that.
Oh,
You never saw the ending? Yeah, he died.
the only way they
The
could
one
have,
that had the water. He was in the like the water was standing.
Oh,
I think we're talking about different.
Yeah, we're talking about something. Well, this guy had his phone in there or whatever, and he thought that it was more open than what it was because of the water that was in there, and he got stuck and he couldn't get out. Yeah, those videos give me anxiety.
the one we're
and I'm
talking
not
about-
claustrophobic.
Nutty Putty is the name of the cave.
the one we were talking about, this dude, the only way they could have attempted to get him out was to break his
Break
body.
him in half.
But there was no point because he would have probably died from the pain.
They even started like they broke his legs to try and get him to bend the way they needed to bend to save his life.
So
Still
so
couldn't get
homeboy
unstuck.
just chilled and died there.
At that
I
point,
wouldn't call it chilled, but
I would have just
and he was also upside down.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
He was upside down.
his
So
body.
like,
His body's still there.
yep, that's his grave.
At that point, I would have just been like, just kill me.
You can look it up if you want to. Nutty Putty is the name.
I'm good. Nope, I'm
Yeah.
good.
So anyway, sleep paralysis. Your story.
So, my best story that I have, this happened after that. But anyways, this is when I still lived at home. Obviously, Dad's a pastor, whatever. Had a praying family, dude. Had a praying family, and I was just in my room one night, and I had went to sleep, and God will speak to me a lot of times in dreams. I have had very, very much so.
That's how I got saved. Keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good story. But a lot of times, I won't say every time, but that he'll speak to me sometimes like that. And I was having this dream, and the church we were at, it was that church. I clearly saw it, plain as day, looked exactly the same, and I will never forget this lady.
You sound. Have you noticed? Is like this must be.
We're triggering something right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even like talking about this, but
Okay.
it's okay. It's okay.
You know what I'm thinking about? The
But-
the Workaholics episode. They made a meme out of I almost died. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. Nonetheless,
But your voice changed a little bit.
yeah.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. What was
It's
talking
because
about?
this was one that absolutely.
Can you please
It's
take
scarred.
the nose off for this story? I can't take it seriously.
Oh, now he looks like that alien from Ben in Black. Baltinian.
Hold on.
Because it seems like a serious story to you, and I want to take you seriously.
Some people
and I
eat
can't.
these.
Oh yeah, it's gross, dude. They eat other things too.
Okay. So, anyways, in this dream, it was my dad's church, and I remember looking out. I was on the stage singing, and this lady looked normal at one point.
This is a dream.
Yeah, this was the dream part
Oh,
of
okay,
it. This was
okay.
the dream part of it. So, yeah, the sleep paralysis came in after this. But, so this lady looked normal, singing. I was on stage singing. I think my mom was playing or whatever. But in a split second, she changed. Literally jumped from the pew onto the wall behind the piano.
Oh, no.
Hold on. And it got worse. In the dream, she turned and looked at me and called my name, specifically called my name.
Joshua. That junk was
No,
whispering
she
in your
literally
ear.
said, "And you, Josh Goudblock." And I woke up, and, we've always been taught the name of Jesus has power and authority over everything.
Dude. No. No, because I'm really kind of creeped out by this story anyway.
So-
I know I'm smiling.
I got lightheaded.
I know.
got lightheaded.
Like, I know I'm smiling.
Somebody's got to bring the funny part back into this. So, But anyways, I woke up, and we've always been taught to proclaim the name Jesus, and that's all I knew to do. But I can't legit. I was so paralyzed in that state that I could not even speak the name Jesus.
Oof.
And this is after you're
Big
awake.
oof.
This is after I'm awake. Yeah. I'm literally laid face down on my pillow. Cannot move. Can't. I tried to call for my mom. I tried to call for my dad. I literally tried to scream. I could not speak at all. Could not speak the name of Jesus. The only thing that got me through that was I was able to think the name Jesus, and whatever it was released. So when I tell you,
so you didn't just have sleep paralysis, you had one of them sleep paralysis demons, dude.
Nah, screw that.
I
better sleep good tonight. All I'm saying.
I probably won't after this. I'm not even gonna lie.
Whose idea was this?
But
I think it was partly yours.
But that was one time, because I think I was only like maybe 17 at that point. I don't even know if I had turned 17. I was 17 at that point. And as a 17-year-old, because I had never had anything like that happen to me.
That's creepy, dude.
Who you telling? I lived it.
Yeah, I'm glad it's you, not me. Well, no, I mean, I hate it happened to you. But
the Lord uses His strongest people sometimes.
Hey, you go right ahead, Hercules.
But that's why I can. Even before that, I had a good sense of discernment. But I think that's why I can pick up on certain aspects more than others, and I can sense things that just aren't right. And so,
well,
who wants to go next?
You got one?
Okay.
You got another one?
Am I no, because I already said I don't have sleep paralysis stuff, like a solid story on that.
You can tell whatever.
So there I was, Afghanistan, 2010. This did happen in Afghanistan. No, I did not see a giant in a cave.
That's exactly where my mind went.
I know that's exactly where your mind went.
I promise. I promise you.
I know.
I was about to ask it.
I know. This is why we're friends, dude. Because I know.
Pause, though. Have you heard that story about the giant in Afghanistan?
No.
Was it
Save
Afghanistan?
it for later.
In Afghanistan, a cave in Afghanistan.
Save it for later.
Government's hiding that junk.
All
right.
Area 51.
Probably.
So, again, it's not like a paranormal thing. Nothing like that.
Well, hey, scary.
I was asleep in we called them chews. Which is basically just plywood huts. And I'm sleeping in my room, and they train us that when you hear the rocket/mortar alarm go off, you need to go immediately to a bunker, because that means they're firing bombs at us. After a while, you just kind of stop listening to it.
It's kind of like your mind just doesn't really register it.
No, it's not that at all. We're just like, yeah, screw it.
Oh.
That's quite literally the only people who get in those bunkers are the people that are new there. Everybody else is like, nah, whatever. I'm not kidding. So I hear the alarm go off. I wake up, and I go right back to sleep. Turns out the chew next to me got hit.
How close is that?
So if I were to walk outside of my chew and go in between us, I could touch both walls.
Oh, and they got hit?
Yeah, they got hit. It went into the roof. Luckily, nobody was home. Nobody was home. They were all at work. Because in Afghanistan, it's always 24 hours. So you're either on the night shift or you're on the day shift.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they were all luckily at work. But I slept right through it.
How do you... Okay.
You ain't going to tell me God ain't got a purpose for your life.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I know.
Been shot at twice then. Kind of.
Why are you caressing your cup, Tony?
It's giving me
comfort.
It's
coping mechanism.
It's my emotional support cup. No, yeah, I've experienced a lot of like near death. So just to go ahead and jump into the next one because mine are like short.
Yeah.
Mine are real short. So the next one, there was this like gorge area that we used to go swimming at all the time. And it would flood there frequently. And we could jump off of this old tank trail into the water. It's probably like a 20-foot drop. But it was cool. It was fun. It was great. There was one day where the water was lower than normal. But it was still deep. So like jumping in it was no problem. So I went for a jump. So I run. And I had this thing where when I showed up there, we didn't hang out or anything. I just immediately started running and I'd tear off like my clothes while I'm running and just jump without anything, without looking. Cause I've been there hundreds of times. In midair, I noticed a piece of rebar sticking right out of the water. And I'm telling you, I missed that rebar 6 inches, but 20 feet, 6 inches might as well be like a millimeter.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, almost died there. It would have impaled me. I jumped feet first.
Oh.
That's how it would, because I would have died. I surely would have died.
Oh.
Yep.
You'd have been a popsicle.
A stovetop.
Stovetop stuffing.
So, I guess my last two, I'll just tell them at the same time. You know, after we leave, I guarantee I'm gonna think of something else. But the other two were when I was sleeping too, and I think it might have just been my mind. But these are two separate occasions. One time, I felt like there was a little girl running and laughing around our bed. You know, just what are y'all doing?
Nothing.
All right, just running around our bed, like laughing and giggling.
Okay.
And then another time, I felt like something was whispering in my ear, but I don't know what it was saying.
Well, you're the one asking the Lord for all this.
No, this was a while ago.
Oh, this was before you was ready for it.
I don't know that I'm ready for it now, because I don't know if I know what I'm asking God for. Really, I don't even know if I should.
We'll
be
talk
asking.
after this.
Anyway, so the laughing thing, the little girl laughing and running, I kind of halfway feel like that could have just been in my mind, but the whispering thing felt too real, and I don't know what it was. So I just remember getting up and praying that whatever, it had to have been like not good, because what's gonna sit there and whisper in your ear, and I don't know what it was saying.
Right.
But other than that, I don't really have any like scary stories. That's about it.
Yeah.
Creepy enough.
I'm pretty sure I told the one about my mom the last time, how that me and my brother weren't home, and
Yeah.
yeah. And so my last one actually happened. Again, it was before the sleep paralysis thing, so I was still about 17, and I was at a friend's house, and it was around Halloween, and so the way the couches were set up, there was one like this, and an L shape, right? So I think it was like love seat and couch or whatever.
Typical living room setup.
Yep, pretty much. So obviously ended up dozing off, whatever, just a normal night. But in this, I guess, sleep, I like half in, half out of sleep. You know what I mean? I heard this voice talking to me, and it was not a voice that I recognized. It wasn't my friend's voice. It wasn't a voice that I recognized at all, and began speaking to me. And this one does trigger me a little bit, but it's all right. And I woke up completely, and I remember I couldn't catch my breath. Again, couldn't say anything at all. And I looked down towards my feet, and it looked like my friend was sitting there. I was like, what in the... So I blinked, and in that instant, it was gone. And
That's creepy.
it literally looked like the silhouette of my friend. I'm not lying to you. And I got up. I started flipping all the lights on. I'm like, get up. get up, get up, get up, get up. I was like, this is what happened.
Yo, your eyes are watery right now.
This one triggers me because
Ooh.
that was.
Did I call it or did I call it?
That was probably one of. I don't want to say it was a trick, but like the closest I have ever been to a demonic something, and
So you felt it was?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I knew.
So
it was.
something about it felt sinister.
Well, I knew by the voice that was speaking to me.
Okay.
Because it wasn't a normal voice.
Could you tell what the voice was saying?
Oh, I could tell you what it was saying, but I'm not saying it on
Oh,
this.
okay.
Oh.
Okay. But I mean, so it was English. So see, that's like the difference between.
But
the thing was whispering to me, like I had no idea what it was saying. It was like gibberish.
But the voice was so. The voice was so sinister
You got me creeped out.
that I knew that it was not from God. I absolutely knew that. I knew 100% that God would never speak to me like that. But this voice, you could clearly sense that it was demonic, 100%. And I'll never forget that. And to this day, that's why I'm very cautious about what I watch. If I feel my discernment kick in, it gets cut off because I abide by what the word says. And I believe, even though it is just a movie, that those things can use that as a tool to get either into your home, into your mind, whatever it is. And so that's why I'm careful about what I do. That's why I'm very careful about certain horror movies that I watch. That's one of my.
So do you watch some scary movies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love scary movies. And up until that point, I absolutely hadn't. I could fall asleep watching a scary movie.
Yeah.
But that changed my outlook on that. It wasn't just something I had heard my dad preach about. It wasn't just something that I had heard members talk about. That it was the real deal, true blue.
Yeah.
Everything that I had heard. And luckily, obviously, at that point, I wasn't as mature of a Christian as I am now. But I at least knew to speak the name of Jesus. And that's all I could do at that point.
Yeah.
But when it feels like something is literally constricting you from talking, that's the worst feeling. And now that I live alone,
Dude, I'd be sleeping with a movie on every night. I'm serious.
A Disney movie.
Shrek. I used to do that when I was younger. You know how many times I watched Shrek?
right?
It
But
was just played on repeat every night.
But yeah, that's.
So, okay. All right.
But now that
Scary
I live alone,
movies.
it's
Scary movies.
Oh, I love some
Here we
scary
go.
movies.
Yeah.
I've heard this of me. I don't like talking about this with Tony.
Why?
Because I think you're wrong.
You think I'm wrong?
All right, go first then, Tony.
Okay, well, first off, what I was gonna bring up was some of your favorite scary movies, but
okay, my bad.
What is it you don't like talking about, like the
Okay, because
how I don't mind watching possession stuff?
me and him are on the same page with this. We don't do that.
This-
Okay, here's my.
I don't think for entertainment. I don't. Now, I'll watch something if it's a documentary, if it's real, but I'm not gonna watch. I know it's kind of the same, I guess.
I
Okay.
think this is.
But I'm not gonna watch an
Let me
Exorcist.
let me explain myself. Hold on. Let me explain myself. I think this is my military mind. This is it's something that I can't equate to you guys. So before military units deploy, some of them will show some of the bad that happens over there.
Right.
And in my unit, we got shown some of the worst of the worst. I'm talking like the videos that they wouldn't play on the news,
Right.
types of stuff. Okay. They play that to you so in the moment you don't freak out because you have to make life game time decisions all the time. So if I'm ever in a moment where, like in deployment, if I got captured, right? If I was the subject of one of those videos, I know what's coming. I can either make peace or I can try and fight and die trying. So the way I see it, It's a little bit of the way my brain views it is it's more of a desensitization more than anything else.
Right.
Because Hollywood is going to exacerbate and exaggerate everything. Like the views of the upside down cross. You know, anybody who's read
Yeah, that's true.
anybody who's read things about the upside down cross, like actual stuff about it, martyrs were crucified upside down, and Paul chose to be crucified upside down because he didn't want to be crucified like Jesus. He didn't feel he was worthy like that. But nowadays we view the upside down cross as unholy because of Hollywood.
Because of Hollywood.
Yeah, that's true.
So if Hollywood makes these movies and exaggerates and exacerbates and does all that craziness, then maybe in a game time decision, I'll be desensitized and I can make that move without having to think.
Well, you go right ahead.
So I have certain qualifications, I guess, for exorcism movies. Like if it's a full-on exorcism and I can't understand what they're saying, what's coming out.
Yeah.
Like The Exorcist, like the little girl, nope, because I can't understand what's coming out of her mouth, and I ain't no. But like if it's like a minute thing, like The Conjuring, that brief moment, I can deal with that. I can handle that. Now the last Conjuring, I couldn't handle that one because that one was really intense, and I literally cringed the whole time I watched it. So I think it's going back to what I was talking about earlier. You know, with your discernment, with all that, you know what you can handle, and I believe the Lord places that within us for that reason, so that we know what we can't handle.
Yeah.
So if I feel like the Lord's saying no, don't finish it. Nope, click. I'm going to the next thing.
So what is your favorite scary movie then?
One of
What do you
them,
like?
One of them, The Conjuring for sure is one of them. But
He immediately goes to a possession movie.
Have you learned nothing this episode?
hold on. I don't qualify that as a possession movie because there is like a brief second where she says, or he says, by the power of God, I condemn you back to hell. That to me is not a exorcism. That is using the authority that God has given us to trample over the devil. Anywho, but if I really had a favorite, mine has always been The Haunting in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Take it back to circa 2009, son.
Yeah.
That movie it really, to me, was a good movie for that year. Probably not now, but I enjoyed it. Thought it was good. So,
Ken, got any?
I don't really like scary movies, but
I could see that.
I just don't find them entertaining, really.
What?
Well, okay, for like the killer movies, it's all the same thing. There's always going.
You like the slasher films? You mean like the
Yeah, I don't like
Jason
them. There's
and
no
Freddy?
I think they're dumb. I mean, they're all the same. There's always going to be a naked couple that die. There's always going to be somebody running and they trip.
Yeah.
I just don't like them. Now the stuff, like I really like Beetlejuice, like that horror comedy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like the stuff that's not too.
Have you
serious.
seen Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Yeah.
Oh, that
I've not seen
movie's
that.
phenomenal. It's a horror funny movie.
I'll have
It's a
to check
comedy
that one
horror.
out.
It's so good.
I do like. I don't really know if you'd consider these horror movies, but remember that Van Helsing movie, the one with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some people probably hate that. I really like that movie.
So you like the Underworld movies too then?
Yeah,
Because
I
it's like
used
the
to.
same style.
I used to.
Underworld is.
Remember League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh, dude, you're diving into some good stuff. I love that movie.
I love that movie. But stuff like that, but
Yeah.
straight up just horror movies, I don't care anything about it.
So I have a
Jaws,
favorite.
Jaws was traumatic though. But go ahead.
I have a favorite series, and then I have one favorite movie. Series, I like Saw, not because of the gore. I like Saw because of the story.
I love the first one.
The twists.
The first one was
that
crazy.
first one, that twist was wild.
You wanna play a game?
Mind blown.
After 2, I was like, eh.
So for a while, I owned when it was 6 movies. I owned the 6 disc set. Like I loved them. But favorite movie, underdog, it's Ghost Ship.
That
do
is
remember
such a
that
good one. You know what
I
always
did like that
sticks
movie.
out to me about that movie?
The Wire?
The Wire. How
Wire.
it just like...
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of funny why I like that movie the most. At the end, it plays a song from Mudvayne, and that was the moment I started listening to metal music.
I don't remember. Was it Dig?
No, it was not Dig. It was I stand, not falling, not crawling down. Yeah, it's a great song, but that is what got that movie, and that song got me into metal music and got me into rock and roll, and quite literally probably got me into playing music.
Huh.
That is a good movie. I will say that.
Dude, loved it.
Have you seen
So
The
good.
Bird? I know it's a real old one, but The Birds. Did you ever?
It's really
Wait.
old. Really
That
old.
is so old, but
I got to change my answer.
Uh-oh.
I forgot. Every year, I've started to really like The Shining.
Oh.
It's
I've been-
Johnny.
I've been watching it every year.
Here's Johnny.
So like
Come on.
every year, it's
Same difference.
Beetlejuice and The Shining. I really like I don't know.
The Shining has a good story.
I don't
though.
even-
The
It really
story
does.
behind The Shining.
I don't
is-
even really get it. It's just I love it.
He goes crazy. He's just a good guy.
Yeah,
that's
it's
going
just so
crazy.
weird. It's just so weird. I do.
I mean,
like
it is weird.
I like
yeah, for
Stephen
sure.
King stuff.
Yeah, Stephen King.
Stephen
I mean, he's a good
King's
story
always
writer.
good.
Now I do listen to horror books, like Stephen King stuff
Oh,
like that. I
okay.
just don't care for the movies.
Did you guys ever get into Supernatural, the show?
I'm watching that now.
Dude,
I just
can't-
got into it.
I think okay. Here's
I couldn't get into it.
I started it too late. I started it recently.
I started it like a month ago.
Oh, well, you're just weird.
I'm at the end of season 2 right now.
It's okay. I made it to season 2. I'm like halfway through season 2. I just can't continue because now I'm so used to watching stuff with good CGI and good effects. Now when I'm watching that show, I'm like, this is awful. Like I'm too afraid to go back and watch Buffy. I loved Buffy growing up, but I
That's-
feel like if I watch it
Wait,
now, I'm gonna hate it.
Did you watch Charmed when you were growing up too?
Nah, you didn't watch that.
You said Buffy,
That
so
girl
I was just naming another one.
Dude,
So stupid.
watching that girl show. Hey, no,
Well, he mentioned Buffy. I mean, that one's not.
no, Buffy's different.
Buffy was different.
How's it different?
She can kick high.
Because
No.
she fought with her hands. She used them hands, son.
No, the reason I like
She
Supernatural.
didn't use powers.
I'm not gonna say I love
I mean, that
Supernatural.
was the shows that were there then.
I'm not gonna say I love Supernatural, but that's what's got me hooked is the corniness that Buffy had.
Yeah, I think I need to make it to a certain point. I think that's what I need to do.
Because Buffy and Xena kind of have like the same corny
yeah.
feel to it, and I like that. Even though it's
gotcha.
so cringy, Supernatural's got that. It's not as bad.
Yeah.
But-
I know I need to like just power through it because I know I've been told like the story as a whole is just great.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What were some other series from the early 2000s? That's kind of got me on a rabbit trail now.
Mm. Who cares?
That are like
Well-
horror related?
Yeah, like there was Buffy,
Oh, there was Angel.
there was
does
Angel,
tie-in.
there was
I didn't watch Angel.
Supernatural was
I watched
kind of
part
like
of it.
later early 2000s.
I don't know. I don't know.
Buffy, Angel.
But this might be a good moment for us to.
yeah.
Well, before we close, we have our sound guy back here.
He's telling
you-
us.
He's telling us we're
We're okay.
Okay.
Do you have a story you want to share or no?
Ooh.
Nah.
No?
Okay. All right. Well, so everybody be safe. Have a good Halloween. Check your candy. Check your candy.
Candy. Razor
Yeah.
blades. And
I was about to say razor blades.
razor blades.
Razor blades and
Sounds like a-
grenades and stuff.
I just think of Spider-Man. Bone saw.
Anyway.
Oh man.
All right. Bye.
All right.